Greg Garza hanging out with us.
Good morning.
All right, so you now what I don't what folks may not necessarily know about how we structure these things. We have a green room, and I can see into the green room when you or Michael or any of our guests jump in, and I can kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. I mentioned cup of coffee, and you gave me the Dikembe Mutombo finger wag.
I've already had 2 cups this morning. I'll go get some more. I actually ran out of Nespresso pods this morning, so
What?
we'll get some more. Yeah.
What? How do you run out of Nespresso pods,
I
sir?
don't know, man. I need to go get some more.
When it comes to stuff in the morning with your morning routine, and how did you settle on coffee? Because I'm not a coffee person at all, and I know
You're a Mountain Dew guy, right?
it is right here.
There you go.
It is right here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I could have it and I could still go to bed.
I'm same way with coffee. I think it happened when I moved to Brazil. When I moved to Brazil as a kid, we would right before the game they would make us take like a shot of espresso.
Wow.
That was like at 12 years old. And I think it happened there, man. That was the end of it. That was the end of it, and it just got something that became more of, like you said, like a morning ritual routine rather than anything else. Just because, I was kind of bred into it when I moved to Brazil.
12 years old, and they're giving you shots of espresso?
Yeah, right before the game, they would give us this little shot. They'd have it in like a big, like in a little igloo cooler or something like that. And you just go, you get your little, they had literally these little plastic cups right before the game. You take your shot and you were good to go.
I mean, just to give you that extra little boost. I mean,
extra little boost, I guess, at 12 years old. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. It's like you get an extra boost at 12 years old, man. I'm like, that's definitely a way to get, locked into an idea.
For sure. For sure.
We started the show with what happened last night in CONMEBOL. They're already starting their qualifying for the 2026 World Cup, and some dude named Messi. I don't know if you've heard of him. He seems to be okay at this soccering thing. And it was like 78th minute. They're goalless with Ecuador, and it's a free kick just outside of the D. So it's like from 24 yards out. And I don't know why now we seem to be almost conditioned to a moment of Messi in these situations where it's late, the script writers are sleepy. It's like, all right, so what's going to happen here? Yeah, 12 minutes to go. Yeah, Messi gets a free kick. And sure enough, he smashes a free kick, and the Ecuadorian keeper was just flat-footed, and he just kind of looks to his right and he goes, yep. And
there's nothing you can do.
No,
he's special, huh? My only concern now is I'm hoping he doesn't play the next game, because I think he did come off. He did come off that game, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He was extremely tired. And coach also pulled him off. So everybody who already bought their $600 tickets for the game against Miami in week's time, I don't know. My kids have tickets. I won't be here, but my kids will be able to go to the game.
Okay.
I'm really hoping that they get to see him. But I don't know. His next game is on Tuesday in Bolivia.
At altitude.
At you got to fly back, get here Wednesday evening, play Saturday. Man, I don't know. I guess let's see if he plays the Bolivia game, and if he doesn't, then I mean, tickets right now are bonkers. So sell while you can, maybe.
So when you have, I mean, let me get into playing at altitude here for a second. Playing at La Paz, which we know is not at sea level, as we say here on the show, somewhat tongue-in-cheek. That stadium is one of the highest, I think, on this planet where they have national team play. And so basically it's like Denver, on top of the Sears Tower. What is it like playing at altitude and having to battle all of the other stuff? It's like you're focusing on all these other things, and then you add altitude on top of it.
Is that what it is? Is Denver on top of Denver on top of the Sears Tower?
11,952 feet.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna have to do, because I played in San Jose, Bolivia.
Okay.
Altitude.
Because 5280 is 10,560, and that gives you another 1,400 feet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was like 2 Denvers and a Sears Tower. What does that do to? What does it do to you, man?
I want to see this, and I'm searching. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. That's the beautiful part of this.
I have to see. Okay, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Altitude of Ururu. This is where we play. We played against San Jose to Ururu.
Mm-hmm.
We flew into La Paz. We spent the night there for 2 nights, and then we flew in a little bitty plane on a dirt. This is Copa Libertadores, and we flew into a little bitty plane on a dirt like runway. This place is 12,254 feet, higher than La Paz. So all I remember is that we got off the plane, and the first thing that they offered us was Coke tea. They put a little cocaine in their tea.
Whoa!
Before games, and we had doping. I got called in for doping that game after the game. And all I remember is just like we were all thinking, so what the heck? Why are they? But I guess that's something that's very normal for them there.
Wow.
During in the middle of their games, they'll do they'll have Coke teas and put a little Coke in their coffee, just so they can withstand the altitude.
Okay.
I remember getting off that plane, and I remember I immediately had the biggest migraine. I had such a huge headache. And then I remember I went in maybe like the 55th minute. And I remember the first play of the game, they played a long ball, and I completely misjudged the header. And we almost got scored on. It would have been my fault. And I do remember against that team, we played them in Tijuana. It was our second game of the Copa Libertadores, and we beat them 4-0. And they were shooting from halfway in Tijuana. That's at sea level.
Yeah.
And I just remember being on the bench and being like, what the heck are these guys doing, man? Like, what are they doing? And then all I remember is that when we get there in Bolivia, they shoot off the kickoff.
Yeah.
And they hit the crossbar.
Yeah.
Off the kickoff, and they hit the crossbar because the ball doesn't. You're like playing on the moon.
Yes.
There's no gravity, so it's it was interesting. Playing in those places are extremely tough. We had oxygen masks on the bench. I know there were guys like doing hits of oxygen during the game would come on. Like during the game, there was a pause or anything like that. We'd have our PTs have like hits of oxygen to take so you could keep going.
Because you have you actually do have those canisters that you can sit there almost like a primatine mist kind of a thing where you can help you out. Yeah.
Exactly that. Yep. They had the mini canisters to where you could just kind of take a puff.
Wow.
I'm assuming, you get some albuterol in there, you get something to open up the lungs, but I mean, those were tough places to play. And in Mexico in general as well. As I give the example, I wonder what the Leagues Cup would have been if a lot of these teams had to play in Mexico.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a lot different. Different environments, hostile environments, but you're also playing in places to where there's a lot of altitude. Mexico City, a lot of altitude. Pachuca, a lot of Hidalgo, a lot of altitude. Toluca, a lot of altitude. So
when you talk to your mentees, does the idea of playing on the road in hostile environments and how to handle noise, does that ever come up?
Other than just handling their parents, I think they're okay for right now. One thing that I do encourage my mentees, and I had a session yesterday about this actually, was just the value of communication on the field and understanding how to make yourself known on the field. Because us as players, like we always develop like these whistling techniques to call for the ball, because if you're field level and the next time you notice somebody calling for the ball or switching the point of attack, I can guarantee you they're not screaming for it, because nobody's going to be able to hear him because of the stadium. Okay. But a whistle, you can hear a whistle. And that was the way I called for the ball. I always called for, I can whistle without, using my fingers, but it's just a whistle. And I don't know if I learned that in Brazil as well. Who knows where I got that out of, but most guys will whistle. There's some pretty interesting guys too. Guys will like do like kissing gestures, like to call for the ball,
Huh.
because there's certain things that I think you can hear when you're on the field that you can't hear somebody yelling. Like if I'm on the other side of the field and I needed, I don't know, I'm giving an example, Carlos Carmona or Eric Remedi to see me on the other side of the field, well, my whistle was going to be a lot more useful than just calling for it. But just calling for it, there's no way in heck anybody's going to hear you.
Because you end up being the same amount of noise as everybody else. It's the same.
Exactly that. So you gotta like change your tone. That's I think back. There's a lot of guys, a lot of South American guys that will do like a kissing technique. Like I don't even want to do it on this, but they would just do like the kissing, kind of like sucking their lips to where it would create this
Huh.
different sound to where you would know where they were. Um, and that's pretty interesting now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, but I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense that you have to find different ways to communicate in a situation where there is all of the noise and the chanting, because as you say, if you're yelling, your voice just gets added to the yelling. And so it's just that same kind of cacophony that's there. But if you come up with a different way to communicate, then your teammates around you know it's like, okay, that's so and so. Did you have was your whistle the same no matter what the teammate was, or was it different for trying to communicate with different teammates?
Same whistle, same
Okay.
whistle, same whistle. Yeah, same whistle. Just to help them know that I was there.
Okay. When you mentioned parents and parents, I get when I talk to you and Michael, parents come up a lot, and how they are trying to continue to be a part of their athletes' growing life, growing abilities, as they continue to try to improve and figure out what level they're going to be at when it comes to being a soccer player. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's concerning, but it just seems to be consistent. Are parents learning about letting go, drifting back, letting the professionals handle the situation, or do you still have those parents? And Michael talked about parents coming to you when it's too late. A lot of the time, they don't anticipate. They're more reactive than proactive. But when it comes to parents in general, are they learning about, hey, these folks in general, these mentors know what they're doing. I need to lay back a little bit. Are parents learning now?
I would say the majority of the kids that we have that we do mentor, the parents understand. The parents have an understanding to where the wisdom and knowledge that they're able to offer is very much different than what we're able to offer, especially within the realm of kind of been there, done that, and have the experience behind it. I always tell parents, look, we serve as an additional asset to you guys. We serve as additional asset to the coaches that surround the kids. And what I mean by that is additional asset of just primary support. And that's what kids need. They need support, and whether it's teaching new lessons or learning from different experiences, but also to continue to push them and help them find ways to always move forward. But we will come across parents every once in a while that just sometimes it's just it's a little too much. Sometimes their negativity towards what that player is, it's all moment. It's the moment itself.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes as a parent, and I think we've all probably failed at it. I fail at it too. But sometimes in a moment of support, I might think of it as a moment of kind of trying to teach them a bigger lesson. In a moment of teaching them a lesson, we might provide a moment of just putting our arm around them when it should have been a kind of a nagging onto them. But they're I would say most of the kids that are in our program, the parents have a pretty good understanding and kind of lay back, lay low. Do ask for feedback, do ask for certain things that they can continue to help with, but they give their kids the platform to share and the platform to be as honest as possible. And we've had some parents that are even I mean, sometimes are amazing to where, hey, what are ways that I can help? What are ways that, I can continue to provide support? And we'll do parenting sessions as well.
Huh.
That's always a good one. That's always a cool one. And sometimes sometimes it's just understanding the confusion behind youth soccer. What pathway is the best? What route do we need to take to continue our kids' development? And there's a lot of people out there that don't understand youth soccer. I'm still learning it, being retired now. So, I think it does help for a parent to be involved in their kids' sports. Now, I don't believe it should be one to where it's going to, maybe be a downfall of that kid's development in regards to how hard you are on them.
When you look at all of this, I mean, it seems at times that being a mentor with all of these external factors, it sounds like a daunting task at times. It seems like it's a challenge to be a mentor with all of the noise that your mentees have to deal with, whether it's on the field or off the field, and all the noise that you have to deal with off the field and making sure the information gets on the field. How much of a challenge is it being a mentor?
It comes with its challenges. There are moments. I've personally had a lot of moments to where some kids just break down, and sometimes you're I wouldn't say you're a therapist because I'm not a licensed therapist, but sometimes you're just that person that kid can confide in that moment, and you kind of just put your arm around them and just kind of help them get through that day. And there's so many moments that at least I've encountered, and I'm sure Parky has as well. Is you can kind of get a sense of what's happening. You can kind of get a sense of what's going on within maybe their household, within maybe not having a good game or something that was said after a game. And I think those are the moments that, I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with being a good mentor. It just has to do with trying to be the best person that you can be. And I always look at things. There's no greater value in life than trying to help somebody, right? I think helping someone who is in trouble or helping someone who needs the help, it makes you feel good that you've done something or done a small part or played a small role in regards to helping them get out of that slump or getting out of that tough moment. And you hope that you never hope that it'll be reciprocated, but you do hope it'll be that person can pay it forward. And I think that's something that we've learned, that I've learned at least with mentoring, is that hopefully it's creating a space to where these kids can see, okay, this person has my back, this person is in my corner, but this is something that I can do for somebody one day as well, with all the experiences that I've had as well.
Greg Garza and our friends at Beyond Goals Mentoring hanging out with us for the Friday free kick, as they always do, at BG Mentoring on the Twitters. Greg Garza, mercifully, is not on the 280 character app, and that's probably something that we all should think about it sometimes, or even if we're on it, don't look at it as much. You serve well by not being on the Twitters, sir. I mean, it's social media, man, and that's probably something else that you probably have to deal with when it comes to your mentees.
What's going on Twitter these days?
That's the thing. That's like all of the noise that you mentioned, the noise that kids get from their parents, but with social media being what it is, and it is a cauldron of noise, all of it, all on its own. There's either negativity or there's stuff that's floated out there, and it's somewhere where someone can come in, drop in 280 characters and get out. They can say their piece, get their jab in, and go. I mean, it's got to be something that when it comes to your mentees, it's something that they've got to learn how to handle too, as a part of all of the external noise.
Most definitely. I think anything that you see online or on the internet or even news, right? It's like, I'd say that one of the worst things for me was that right after the game, there's your rating.
Yeah.
There's your rating. And it's no offense to any of these guys who write articles, or there's guys here in Atlanta. There's guys that do it for US Soccer. There's guys, you have your rating after the game. And these guys who you don't know what level they played soccer at.
No.
You don't know how far they made it in soccer. You don't know. I mean, we could really sit down and we could talk soccer. And I bet you I could come up with some rules and I could ask them, hey, is this legal or is this illegal? And they wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's a lot of funky rules out there. We used to do pop quizzes with our teams and see if you truly knew the rules of soccer, because there's a lot of crazy things out there that can happen. But it just sometimes you with these kids, you have to kind of explain that to them, that look, even in our careers, there's going to be people who are rating your game. And Parkey says it the best, right? Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. And, ultimately these ratings are critiquing your game. And there's no way in heck I'd take advice from that guy who's telling me that I didn't defend well. There's no way I'd take advice from that guy who's telling me I needed to do this on this one goal. Well, that's not going to teach me anything. It's just going to bring me down. So how can I use that information and take it to somebody that, okay, yes, I would be accepting of their constructive criticism. I'd be accepting of what they can do to help me, and everything else just kind of goes through one ear and right out of the other. Sometimes it's easy to say, hard to do, but I think you really have to help kids understand that as well, especially with the social media aspect. Here's my pop quiz question for you though.
Uh-oh.
Throw in.
Okay.
All right. I'm throwing it in. I'm a left back and I throw it in.
Okay.
And you're the goalie and you let it go in the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a goal? Don't touch it though.
I would say that it is.
No, it's not.
Okay, because it wasn't touched by an internal source. Is that it?
An internal source. You know what it is?
Hmm.
It's a corner kick for the other team.
Ah, okay. And we have folks who are chiming in on the Twitch pitch who are saying no goal. They get that.
They knew. So we used to have these like round tables with Tijuana. When I played in Tijuana, we'd do like these round table. We'd have our dinner tables, and the coach would put like crazy questions. So you didn't know about the corner kick. It'd be a corner kick, even though it went in the goal. It went out of the inline.
Because it's exchange of possession, because it wasn't touched by an internal source.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So look, I want to try and do this in youth soccer for a ref in youth soccer here in the United States and see what would happen. And I would like to see the parents react to something like this, right? Because I've been involved in situations, even now with my kids, to where something like, not like that happens, but something similar. And I just sit there and I'm just going, oh man, I'm just going to walk away in this moment. I'm not going to say anything. And I'm going to let all the parents, and I'm going to let all the refs and every single coach, I'm going to let them figure it out. But we used to play these games to where we do these like pop quizzes. And we'd actually do it for money, but you'd have each dinner table put in their money. And then the coach would do this like, the kind of questions on the board, and you'd get to pick which one you want.
Oh, you get to pick which one you want?
Oh, yeah.
How did you do on these quizzes, by the way?
Man, you would be surprised that there are so many rules within soccer that I believe probably players don't even know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting ones out there. There's a lot of interesting, crazy rules that are out there. I watched one the other day that this Swedish third division team figured out how to.
We talked about this, yeah.
How to not be offsides.
Uh-huh.
I watched that the other day, and it was so interesting to me. That's the only thing I think Instagram and TikTok. I guess I don't have TikTok, but I guess the only thing Instagram that I that's on my like explore is all like soccer highlights of Romario and Ronaldinho and all these guys, and just crazy soccer things that are just blow your mind. But that was an interesting one as well. That he defied the offsides rule
by putting it in that 90-degree angle.
Yes.
with the foot and the leg right there in that little 90-degree angle. Yes. where you flex your foot and have your leg. As long
Yes.
as you can hold it there,
Yes.
the guy can advance according to IFAB. And yeah, we have that as part of our required reading at the Guardian. Yeah, as long as you can hold it there, dude
Yeah.
can do whatever he wants.
Yep. That's pretty interesting.
Very cool. Before we let you go, one other topic I wanted to talk about this time around is dealing, because it kind of goes back to the Messi idea. When it comes to dealing with stars, either on your team, knowing that dude is far and away better than anybody else on your squad, or having to defend that guy, how do you talk to your mentees at all about star power and navigating these elements of the game where, all right, I've got to either slow this guy down, do my best against this guy, knowing that he may still get his by the end of the day? What's it like going, for mentees going up against dudes that are far better than you are right now?
Yeah, I use the old Pele saying, is that Pele's dad would always tell him, every time you step on the field, everybody's equal.
Okay.
When you step over the white line, everybody's equal. There's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. And I mean, we can look at all the games that Messi has played to where he hasn't been able to win, right? There's been a lot of games, right? And so, I think that's the mindset you have to go in. Just knowing that once you step on the field, is he something that is extremely special and he can change the game and within a second, but he's still a soccer player. He's still on the field to where a result can go either way. You never know what the result can be. So how can you kind of think more towards the result going your way than worrying about just that one player?
All right. So what's going on with Beyond Goals these days?
Same old, man. Continuing to grind and create opportunities for ourselves and help these kids continue to grow. Hopefully, not only as great players, but also as great people, man.
Love it. Greg Garza and our friends at BG Mentoring for the Friday Free Kick. Greg, go get your Nespresso pods, because
We'll do that.
I know that you are out and you need to have them there at the Casa.
Sounds good, man. Thank you, guys.
Be well, my friend.
You too, bud. Have a good weekend.
Greg Garza hanging out. He's going to go chase after Nespresso now. And once again, thanks to our friends at Beyond Goals Mentoring for availabilities with Greg and Michael, and talking about mentees and talking about soccer and all this great stuff at BG Mentoring on the Twitters or the 280 character app or the X or whatever it is.